Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. Is the volume okay? Is it audible?
Audible.
Okay. So Hare Krishna, welcome all devotees who have joined for the Sunday Feast program. So a warm welcome to our center on behalf of Madhav, Jagannath, Yashoda, Mai Sudarshan and all the devotees. So today's topic, we'll be continuing the discussion of Bhagavat Gita, Srimad Bhagavat Gita. And today's topic is Bhagavat Gita, chapter number 4, shloka 5 to 8. So the essence of today's topic is to understand Sri Krishna as the founding head of all the avatars. So we will first recite the shloka and the translation. So shloka number 4.5. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me vyatitani Janmani tavacharjuna Tani aham veda sarvani Natvam veta parantapa. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead said, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Shloka number 4.6. Achopi sannabhyayatma Dudanamisharopi san Prakritim swamadhishtaya Sambhavami atmamayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy still I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Shloka number 4.7. Yada yada hi dharmasya Glanir bhavati bharata Abhyudhanam adharmasya Tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious principle practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of religion, at that time I descend myself. Shloka 4.8. Paritranaya sadhunam Vinashaya chatushrutham Dharma samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So we recite the prayers. Om Jnanati Vinandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaryam Dadanti Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sargana Raghunadam Vidantam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sargana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpade Gomesha Gopika Kanta Radha Ganga Namostute Taptaganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabharu Sudhe Devi Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Padiganam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhudale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Bhashatyadeshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mudam karoti vachanam pangum langayati yadvahamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinadayanam Ramaya Namah Shri Chaitanyam Shri Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna. So welcome all again to the today's session. So today we are discussing shloka 5 to 8 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So last session, Arun Krishna Prabhu was taking the session. So he was talking, just to set the context, we were discussing about the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, right? So Krishna was telling Arjuna that this particular knowledge which I am giving you now has been already spoken to me by me to who? Anybody remember? Sun God, Vivaswan, right? So Sun God is known as Vivaswan. So basically Sun God Vivaswan existed many millions of years ago. Right? So then the next verse Arjuna is asking the question, how is it possible? Because Arjuna and Krishna, they are like friends, they are all the same age, they are peers. So how is it possible that Vivaswan, Sun God who appeared many millions of years ago, how is it possible that you have spoken this knowledge to him? Because Krishna, he took birth maybe 125 years ago. So Krishna was about 125 years, and Bhagavad Gita was spoken in Kurukshetra. So this was the question. So what Acharya says and other devotees who have analyzed, what they say is that it is not that Arjuna did not know the answer, right? So Arjuna is asking this question for whom? For all of us. Because people in the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures are actually they are timeless. They are not meant for a particular small period. It is meant for all the time to come. So they already anticipated that people of Kali Yuga, they will not have faith in all these things, right? So they will have all these doubts. So Arjuna is already asking this question for on behalf of us. So actually the entire Bhagavad Gita is also spoken for us. It is not that Arjuna is considered as a pure devotee of the Lord. No, he is learned, well-versed in scriptures. He is having full understanding of Vedic scriptures. So Arjuna, actually, Krishna puts Arjuna in this bewilderment in the beginning of the battlefield so that Bhagavad Gita can be spoken. Right? We should not think that Arjuna, he actually is weak in his heart or something. So this way, this question is asked by Arjuna. So in today's shloka, we will see what Krishna is giving the answer. So the first shloka is saying, Shri Bhagavan Vaja, Bhuvini me viditani, Janmani tava charjuna, Tani aham veda sarvani, Natvam veda parantava. So what he's saying is that, Krishna is saying, Bhuvini means both you and me have taken many births. Right? But I am able to remember all the previous birth. So I am able to remember the conversation between me and Sun God. And Arjuna was also present at that time in a different body. So, but then you are not able to remember. So why is it like this? That we will see. So today we will be mainly focusing on two aspects. The first aspect is understanding why the soul, why we are not able to remember what has happened in the previous birth, right? That is one point. We also will look at the soul, how the soul transmigrates from one body to another briefly. That is one topic. Second topic is to understand the remaining three shlokas are talking about the Lord's appearance. How the Lord appears. So how the Lord's appearance is different from our appearance. So that is what the rest of the shloka. So we'll first discuss the first point. Okay, so Jiva's forgetfulness. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that Arjuna, you have forgotten. You already taken so many births in the past, but you are not able to remember it, right? So why is it so? Because I want to first ask a question. How many of you believe in reincarnation? Can you raise your hands? Reincarnation. Punarjanma. Not many people. So the front row nobody believes. Okay, so we'll see. We'll try to understand. Okay. So when somebody dies or somebody passes away, right? We do some samskaras. You know, right? What all the things we do, Shraddha, right? We do Pindadana. Why do we do this actually? It's part of our culture, right? Why do we do it? If soul, that's what it is. So basically we are doing something for the soul, right? Because if the body is everything, then there is no point in doing everything. The body is over, then we don't have to do anything for that person, right? If any money is left, we can withdraw. What is there are properties that we will take. But then we are doing this ceremony for the soul, right? Because it means that something is living beyond the body, right? Body is not everything. So this is part of our culture. It is part. Like maybe 1 or 2 generations before, like it is a given thing. There is no question of whether you believe in rebirth or not. Everybody believed in rebirth, right? So because we in India also they say that actually, like basically we say for next birth, right? Is janam or aane wala janam, right? So we have to make our existence good for this birth as well as whatever they do, they will not do something only for this birth. They will look also in the future birth. Whatever activities we do, it also should benefit us in the future birth. So Krishna has already explained in chapter 2 about the soul. So basically there's a shloka which says Dehi nosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tada dehangara praptir dhirastatra na muhyadi. So that shloka, this picture is illustrating that concept. So what is mean? Dehi nosmin yada dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara, right? So Dehi nosmin means within this body, right? Dehi nosmin yada dehe. So within the body, we can see that the body is continuously changing. When somebody takes birth, they have a very small body, right? A baby, very small, like 2 kg or 2.5 kg, 3 kg, like that, a small body. When this person becomes a very old man, like 85 years, we cannot distinguish, right? If you show the photo of the baby and the old man's photo, there is no way that we can understand they are the same people, right? Even after, like when the boy becomes a boy, when the baby becomes a boy, then also his body is different. So the body is continuously changing, right? But then there is something which is not changing the body, correct? No? See, if everything is changing, how do we remember what has happened in the past, right? So according to science also, all our cells in the body is recycled. Every few years, all the cells are changed completely. So there is no, completely from a scientific perspective, the body today is completely different from the body which was earlier. So there is something within the body that actually which is not changing, by which I am able to remember all the things which has happened in this life, right? So this is the concept of Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. So within the body, the soul is not changing, but the body is continuously changing. So basically within this life itself, we are changing our bodies multiple times. But because we are able to remember all this, nobody cries. Nobody says that, oh, I become an old man, my baby boy, body is lost, or my boy's body is lost, or my youth body is lost. We don't cry. Of course, sometimes people feel bad that my youth is gone, right? They'll try to keep, dye the hair and try to make. But then generally, everybody accepts. Nobody says that, no, I don't want to play. There's no way. But then at the time of death, what happens? The body is completely useless. You can see that old man's body now, he is completely become invalid. He cannot do anything himself. So at this time, what happens? We take another body. So this is what transmigration of the soul is. So, but then everybody is bewildered when we lose this body and take another body. One reason is that we can't see where the soul is going. No? Somebody dies, we don't know where the person has gone. We say that, okay, this person has passed away, right? So this is also, even in English we say, no, the person has passed away. So basically there is an implicit understanding that the person is not the body. When you say the person has passed away, then that means that person is not in this body anymore, right? He has moved on. So this understanding is already inherent. But in today's world, people doesn't have faith. But they think that with birth everything starts and with death everything is over. So because of this understanding, everybody wants to completely enjoy the life. They want to try to maximize what all things can I do in this life, everything I want to do. So people are like completely, they are mad. So if you ask today's world, everybody is in a rush, right? And nobody knows where are they heading. If you ask, nobody has any time. We call for the class, we give book, they don't have time to read, they don't want to. So, but then everybody is in a mad rush without knowing what they want to do. They generally know that, okay, they want to enjoy, right? Become happy. So they try to accumulate wealth. So the whole life, 24/7, we are spending our time and effort for the body. But are we really the body? As per this understanding, we are the soul. We are something beyond the body. So which means that what is the real person is the soul. And we are not spending any time for the soul, who is the real identity, right? We are spending all the time for the body which is temporary. So this is the important concept of Bhagavat Gita, no? That we are not the body. Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the Adado Brahma Jitnasa. So starting of spiritual knowledge is with the understanding that we are not the body. We are something beyond the body, right? So then accordingly we should prioritize our time such that we give more time for our soul, our real identity, right? Because all that the body acquires in this life, everything is lost at the time of death, right? Can anybody say that, okay, no, transfer to me, I am born again, please transfer me to the new account, what are all the balance in my account? We can't do that, right? You cannot say that transfer the property, or I became a great scientist, or I became a great politician, I am the president of US, like Donald Trump. So Donald Trump cannot say next life, no, I am Donald Trump, no, let me become president, not possible. So basically the point is that all that we are achieving, all the time we are spending in the life to accumulate wealth, fame, whatever, no, strength, beauty, all these things, that is something which is temporary, which we cannot take beyond our grave. What is the last point we can take is till the grave, right? Shamshan or Smashan. Right? Smashan is the end point. Beyond that we can't carry anything. So we need to think, stop and think, are we really putting our efforts and time on the things which are really worth? So this is a question that we need to ask ourselves. Right? So this is an important point. So now, so what happens? So basically, our existence in the material world, there are three aspects to our existence. So what is the real Atma? The Atma is the real person. The Atma is first covered by a subtle body. Right? There is a subtle body which is known as the Sukshma Sharira, which is subtle body. And then there is a gross body which is known as the Sthula Sharira. Right? The Sukshma Sharira is made of, is subtle body. What does subtle body means? Subtle body is something which is beyond our sense perception. So we can't see by our eyes. We have 5 indriyas, Panchendriya, like eyes, nose, ear, touch, etc. So beyond the 5 indriyas, the subtle body is there. So that's why we cannot see the subtle body. And subtle body consists of mind, intelligence and ego, false ego. Right? Mind, intelligence, false ego. So this is the subtle body. And then which is covered by the gross body, which is the Sthula Sharira, which is consists of Pancha Mahabhutas, which are earth, water, air, fire, ether. Right? Bhumi, Kapur, Analo, Vayu. Come. Right? So these are the 5 elements which is considered our gross body. So the senses can only perceive the Panchabhutas. So not only our body, everything that is existing in the material world is made of these 5 elements. So whatever the senses can perceive are the gross elements. But the subtle body is beyond that. So how it is mentioned in the future shloka in Bhagavat Gita, that when a person dies, the subtle body becomes the vehicle to carry the soul from this body to the another body. The subtle body carries the soul from one body to another body. Right? So all that impressions that we collect in this lifetime. We have many vasanas, right? Many habits, many desires. All these things, all the impressions are engraved in the subtle body, in the mind. And when the body is actually transformed to another body, in the subtle body, the soul is transmigrated to another body, these impressions are carried. But then generally the memories are not carried. Right? We forget. In the next birth, so today, in this birth, any of you remember what has happened in the last birth? Okay. But then there are some exceptions. So we'll see that. So that is the next topic. So, but generally, in this context, Arjuna is saying that, Krishna is telling Arjuna that because you have changed your body many times, you are not able to remember the previous conversation of which we had or which I had with Vyaswan. So when the body changes, generally all the memory, everything is lost with the body. So what is an exception? Exception is, there are some cases of exceptions where the child, many cases, they have seen that when the child is small, like when they are 2 years, 2 to 6 years, there are many cases where the children are able to remember the past lives. Anybody has read about anything like that? They can raise their hands. Okay. So there are a lot of cases. So actually there was a very famous psychiatrist. I think he was in the University of Virginia in the US. His name is Ian Stevenson. Right? He was a very famous psychiatrist. So he had done very extensive research. His entire lifetime, he has traveled all the different countries, and he has done extensive research on this topic of reincarnation, Punarjanma. So he studied so many cases. There are around 2,500 cases, which are documented, where there is very solid evidence. So he did the studies like normal scientific study, like by scientific process he actually analyzed. He took, he did basically, he did some interviews before to check whether they are faking it. Then, he also included many other academic people in the study. So like that, many studies were conducted. So, and then the study is still continuing by his follower known as Tucker, James Tucker. If you search, you will get Ian Stevenson and James Tucker, both the people, you can see YouTube videos. So this person, second person is still continuing the studies. So there's one important incident which is very remarkable, right? This is the story of James Leninger. Okay, so James Leninger, he was born in the US, and when he became 2 years old, this child started to get a lot of nightmares. So in the night he used to cry, he used to scream in the night. He used to shout actually, he used to say that airplane crash, on fire, little man cannot get out. So he keeps on telling this. So you always used to have nightmares. And then as soon as he started talking, he used to start telling many technical terms of the flight. For example, when the flight is crashed or sometimes the flight is having an issue, then the pilot can eject. Right? There's a button, the pilot can eject and using parachute is come down. So this boy used to tell these terms, many technical terms. He used to tell the name of the particular flight. So this flight was many years. It was in the World War II, plane which was crashed. Then he used to tell terms like drop time. Corsair is the name of the particular flight. He checked. So many things. It was completely bewildering because there is no way that a child of 3 years or 4 years he can understand all these technical terms, right? So he used to tell all this. So this is a well-known case of reincarnation, and there is a book known as Soul Survivor. So this book is written by his family, his parents, and together based on all the experience they have written this book, Soul Survivor. So these books you can, if you are interested, you can read more. But then there are many cases. This is just one example case. But there are many cases in India, in all countries, in the North America, in Sri Lanka, India, a lot of cases they have studied actually. So like lot of cases. Even in ISKCON, actually there is one case, right, of one brahmachari in the ISKCON temple in Manor, right? Manor temple, Bhaktivedanta Manor. Yeah, Bhaktivedanta Manor. There was a brahmachari who was distributing the books, right? And one day suddenly, because of accident, he died. And in the next birth, he took birth as a mataji, like as a woman. And then she actually, they did a lot of research on the topic. And then they found out that this mataji was actually Raghav Brahmachari in his previous life. Again, this also you can research. But now, because of time, we cannot get into more details. But the point we want to just emphasize is that the soul is the soul is eternal, right? The body is temporary. When the body becomes useless, the soul leaves the body and takes another body. So we have a lot of cases. So this is one example is reincarnation. Then there is also the concept of out-of-body experience and near-death experience. So near-death experience is also a scientific phenomena by which many people who are clinically dead, declared by doctors who are clinically dead, after they come back, then they explain their experience. So they have also documented many such cases. So they actually had similar experiences, right? So clinically the person is dead. So if clinically the person is dead, then there should not be any memories, right, of that particular period when he was dead. But then many of these people, they were able to see what was happening around. They were having an out-of-body experience. They were able to see from top. For example, what was the conversation going on between the people assembled? Like the details they were able to give. So like that, there are many phenomena in today's world also by which we can be sure that this body is not everything. Right? The soul is something which is beyond the body. So anybody has any questions here? Others will move on. Yeah, so there are some pictures of the people. So the first picture on the left, actually, he was in his previous birth, he was known as James. Full name I don't remember. And both the birth, like this birth also was James Leninger. So that was the airplane pilot who was killed in the air crash, the first one on the left. Second one, the child in the middle, and the second photograph, both are actually belong to the boy, James Leninger, in this birth. So now I think we'll switch the topic. It's a completely different topic. So here now we see what actually Krishna is telling in the subsequent shlokas, right? So Krishna, what he's saying in the subsequent shloka, we'll just quickly. So Ajobisanna me atma, Bhudanam Isharobisanna, Prakritim swam adhishtaya, Sambhavami atma maya. So here Krishna is telling that how he is actually appearing in this material world, right? And he's saying that next two slokas he says what is the purpose of his appearance. Whenever Krishna comes, why he comes? So basically to re-establish religious principles, right? He comes, and also to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants. So these are the purpose of Lord's appearance. So now we'll see in more detail. So we'll try to understand what actually, who is Krishna, what is the position of Krishna, and what are the avatars. Okay, so in the picture you can see the Krishna is on the top, and then all the different incarnations are actually shown in the picture, right? So this is just a small snapshot, but then the incarnations of the Lord is considered like the waves of the ocean, right? The waves of the ocean is never ending, right? Does the wave stop anytime? No. It's infinite, right? It all keeps on happening. Similarly, the Lord's incarnations and avatars are infinite. So basically, we can understand that everything is manifested and unmanifested is coming from the Lord, Supreme Lord, right? So this material world is just a small part of the Lord's creation, but then there is much more in the spiritual world. So all the jivas, we are also part of Krishna, right? So Krishna says, Mamevamsho jivaloge, jiva bodha sanatana. So all these jivas which are there in the material world, they are my part and parcel. So basically there are two kinds of expansions of the Lord. One is actually known as Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. So Swamsha is the direct expansion of the Lord, or all the various incarnations we will see today. And Vibhinnamsha is a separated incarnation, like the jivas, right? They are separated from the Lord. So this way the Lord's incarnations are infinite. So we will look at some scriptural evidences about the Lord's position as well as incarnations. So Brahma Samhita, we look at Brahma Samhita. So Brahma Samhita is a scripture which is written by Lord Brahma. Lord Brahmaji is the first creator of the universe, right? Within the universe, the first created person is Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma is responsible for all the secondary creation, right? So there cannot be anybody who is more knowledgeable than Brahmaji, right? Because Brahma got the Vedic knowledge directly from Krishna, right? So Tene Brahma Hindaya Adi Kavayi, which is mentioned in Bhagavatam. So the Vedic knowledge was manifested in the heart of Brahma, right? Directly from the Lord. So Brahmaji got the knowledge of Vedic knowledge, and then later on it passed through various parampara. Like Krishna is telling, Evam parampara praptam imam rajashyo. So before Kali Yuga, the knowledge was passed from generation to generation, and it was kept in the head. Like they were able to remember at that time. But now in Kali Yuga, because people cannot remember, Krishna incarnated as his partial incarnation as Vedavyas, and he actually dictated the Vedic knowledge, and Lord Ganesha actually he inscribed it. So and then the generations, we are all able to understand the Vedic knowledge. So Lord Brahmaji is most knowledgeable person in the creation right now. So basically there are unlimited universes, and in every universe there is a Lord Brahma, and in our universe there is a Brahma who is having 4 heads. He is known as Chaturbhuga Brahman, and he actually is the source of our universe, right? So Brahmaji has written this scripture called Brahma Samhita, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has discovered it. This scripture was lost for many years, many thousands of years. It was not available or unmanifested. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he visited South India, Adhikeshwar Perumal temple, he could recover the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. Right? The remaining Brahma Samhita is not available. So this is what we are looking is the 5th chapter. So the first shloka, I think is very famous, everybody knows. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So this is the first shloka. So what it says that Ishvara Parama Krishna. So basically there are many Ishvaras. Ishvara means controller. And who is the supreme Ishvara? Who is the supreme Ishvara? Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Then what is his form? He has a form. He is not a light or something formless. His form is Satchitananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. And his form is Satchitananda. Sat Chitananda, which means Sat is eternity, Chit knowledge, and Ananda means happiness, bliss. So this is something which is beyond our perception. So because we are today in the material world, whenever a jiva comes to the material world, his original intelligence is covered by Maya, right? So by design, our intelligence is limited. We cannot go beyond a point. All that we can acquire in the material world is through our 5 senses, right? And so that actually happens in our mind, everything is limited. And so we are temporarily we are entrapped in this body, which is matter. And everything that we see here is matter. And spirit is something beyond our perception. So because of which also, the spiritual topics are very difficult for us to understand by our own endeavor. To understand a spiritual topic, we need a guru, right? We have to understand through the mercy of a guru and by the Lord. So the Lord shows His mercy through a guru, and then the jiva can go beyond his limitation and to understand spiritual topics. So we are just trying to scratch the surface of the knowledge. We may not be able to understand completely. Because when you say Satchidananda, it's something beyond our perception. Okay, we can understand Ananda, like happiness. Sometimes we feel very happy, right? So the spirit soul is completely happy, right? And then it's eternal and it's full of knowledge. And Anadir Adir Govinda means there is no like he's very old, Anadi. No, there is no beginning or end for Govinda, who is Krishna. And Sarva Karana Karana, he is the cause of all other causes. So there is no other. So if you look at different causes, go higher and higher. What is the cause for this? What is the cause for this? Like that, if you go, finally you reach a point beyond which there is no further cause. So that is the Sarva Karana Karana. So Krishna, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the Supreme, right? And he has an eternal blissful body, and he doesn't have a beginning or end, and he is the cause of everything. So this concept of time, so whenever we ask something, or we have this question, so before Krishna existed, what was that? Right? So this time concept is a relative concept which exists in the material world. And in the spiritual world, Acharya says that there is this time concept is not existing. So when we cannot think a scenario where there is no time, because that is what we are used to. Then when we are used to the time concept, then we will have this question, before that what happened? No? That relative time concept comes. But actually in the spiritual realm, it is mentioned that the time the time concept, time is not existing at all. So that means, for example, a small example is that when somebody is, imagine that you are locked in a room, right? There is no light, completely it's dark, and then you don't have any interaction with anybody. Right? In this scenario, you will not get any idea like how the time is passing. Right? Sometimes this happens like when we are feeling sick, or some of you had an anesthesia operation, we were unconscious sometimes. So then for some time we don't get the time concept, we miss that. Right? So it is mentioned, and also there are many other scientific theories about the relativity of time. Right? So basically the time concept is absent in the spiritual world. Right? So it's only a concept of material world. So we'll see the next shloka. Advaita Manchuda Manadi Mananga Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanancha Vedeshu Durlapa Madurlapa Matma Bhaktau Govindam Nadi Purusham Tamaham Vajami. So again, similar concept, Advaita Manchuda Anadi Mananga Rupam. Again, it is explaining about the nature of the Lord. Adyam Purana Purusham. So he is the Adyam, he is the first person, and his Purana is very old. But at the same time, Navayoganamcha. So one important thing we see in the Lord is that materially many things of the Lord may look contradictory. Right? Somebody cannot be very old and at the same time be very young. Right? So it is mentioned that Adyam Purana Purusha. And next it is mentioned that Navayoganamcha. So though the Lord is very old, but his body is always youthful. It is never deteriorating. Vedeshu Durlabha Madurlabha Atma Bhakto. So even though you scan the entire Vedic scriptures, the Lord actually is not easily available to everybody. Durlabha, Vedeshu Durlabha, but Adurlabha Mahatma Bhakta. So, but he is easily accessible to a devotee. So when you look with the eyes of devotion, Premanjana Churida Bhakti Vilojanena, Sanda Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilogayanti. So Premanjana Churida, so somebody is searching the Lord with the eyes which is anointed with Bhakti, love of God, then they can see the Lord. Otherwise, actually, we search everywhere. You search all Vedic scripture, you will not see Krishna. So that is what is mentioned. Vedeshu Durlabha Adurlabha Atmaktu Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Then the next part actually talks about the incarnation of the Lord. Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavadara Magaro Dhuvaneshu Kindu Krishna Swayas Tambhavat Paramak Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So basically he's saying that Ramadi, so Lord Rama is just given as an example. So like that, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Krishna Nanavadara Magaro. So the Lord has taken various incarnations, Nanavadara Magaro. In the material universe, the Lord has taken so many incarnations, like example Lord Rama. Right? But then Krishna Swayam Sambhava Paramapumanyo. So but Krishna is not an incarnation. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. So Krishna, whenever he comes here, he actually, the original Supreme Personality is directly coming. He is not taking an incarnation. He comes directly as Supreme Lord. So that way the Lord, when he appears, and all other incarnations are different. The Lord actually is directly coming here, and the other incarnations are various expansions. So Lord Brahma is saying that because of all these reasons, Tamaham Bhajami, I am worshipping you, Govindamadi Purusham. Right? So this is Brahma Samhita. Now we see in Bhagavatam, there's a shloka which says, Ede Chamsa Kala Pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vyakulam Yogam, Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. So again, so before this shloka, the various incarnations of the Lord was explained. Right? The various incarnations was explained, and after that it's saying, all these incarnations, Ede Chamsa Kala Pumsa. So whatever expansions I already explained are either, there are different kinds of technical terms, like There is like Kala. Kala is one kind of incarnation. Then Amsha, there is another kind of an expansion. So all these are either expansions, portions, primary portions, or portions of the primary portions. But Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna is not an incarnation. He is the Supreme Lord. Right? So from all these conversations, what is being established is that the Lord actually takes various incarnations in the material world. Right? So there are so many technical terms and very difficult to understand. But we can just understand that Lord takes various incarnations. Right? And everything is an expansion of the Lord. But Krishna is not an expansion of the Lord. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what actually is established in this shloka. Right? And now we look at this star. I don't know, it may not be visible, but then we can just quickly understand what it is. So we can see Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the source of everything. And from Krishna, the first expansion is Lord Balram. And then Srimati Radharani. So these are the first two expansions. And from Balram, all other expansions come. Right? So the first, from Balram, there is something called the Chaturvyuha, which is one of the quadrupled expansion, which is Vasudeva, Sangarshana, Pratyumna, Niruddha. So these are the four incarnations from Lord Balram, expansions of Lord Balram. And from Sangarshana, Lord Narayana appears. From Narayana, again there is something called the second Chaturvyuha, the second quadruple expansion. Vasudeva, Sangarshana, Pratyumna, Niruddha. So the second Sangarshana is known as Mahasangarshana, to distinguish from the previous Sangarshana. And all other incarnations come from Mahasangarshana. Right? From Mahasangarshana, the Purusha Avataras come. The Purusha Avataras are the three Vishnus. Right? The Karanodakashaya Vishnu, the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. So basically from Mahasangarshana, the Karanodakashaya Vishnu is the Mahavishnu, which we know. Now we know the Mahavishnu, right? The first Vishnu is Mahavishnu. He actually comes. So Mahavishnu is lying in a causal ocean, Karana ocean. That is why he is known as Karanodakashaya. That is the cause of everything. And when this Mahavishnu, actually there is a picture there, just after the pillar, which actually shows that Mahavishnu is lying in the causal ocean. And Mahavishnu is breathing out. From every pore of his body, one universe is coming. Right? And in every universe, Mahavishnu enters as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Right? And Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is the source of Lord Brahmaji. From Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, the lotus flower is coming. And on top of the lotus, Lord Brahma is there. Along the stem, all the planetary systems. Right? The upper planetary system, the lower planetary system, the Goloka, Gorloka, Swargaloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, like that, all the upper planets. Then below, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Rasatana, Padala, like that lower planetary system. So this way, our Brahmanda. So all that we know is our universe, Brahmanda. This is what actually we can perceive. We cannot know anything beyond our universe. But there are unlimited universes. And similarly, the Lord Vishnu enters into every jiva as Paramatma. We say, no, we generally say, right? Lord is there in everybody, right? We have heard that everybody is having the Lord, like Lord is there in our heart. So this is the Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. This is known as the Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhudana Hridayeshi Arjuna Tishtati. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhudana. So in all Buddha, all the jivas, Bhagavan Ishvara is there in the form of Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhudana. And where it is situated in the heart. Right? Yeah, so all this also one more shloka. We say that Vedesha Sarve Rahameva Vidyo Vedantam Veda Vidyasham Sarvasya Jagam Hridi Sannivishto. Sarvasya Jagam Hridi Sannivishto Vattas Smriti Jnanam Abohanam Cha. So again here also it is mentioned that I am situated in everybody's heart as Paramatma. So this is the Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Now what we have to understand, so this way, these are the details of different incarnation. Right? And in Bhagavad Gita 10.42, the opulence of the Lord, the chapter of opulence of the Lord, after explaining all his various vibhudis, Krishna in the end says, Adava Bahuna Itena Kim Nadena Tavarjuna Vistabhya Idam Krishnam Ekamshena Siddho Jagat. So he is saying that he has explained all the glories, and he is saying that what is there to say? By my small fragmentary portion, this entire universe is sustained. So that is what is referring to Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Right? So Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the. So there are 4 or 5 levels of expansion, right? When we come to Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. So this is a small amsha of the Lord. And by this small amsha, the entire universe is sustained. So we can understand what is the opulence of the Lord. Okay, so there are some more technical things like, we will not get into the details. So there are different categories of Lord's incarnation. So this is one way of dividing, but there is other ways of dividing also. Right? So it's like, for example, there is something called Purusha Avataras, which we have seen. The 3 Vishnus are Purusha Avataras. Then there are Leela Avataras. Like we know Matsya Kurma, Raga, Narsimha, these are performing various pastimes. So there are Lila Avataras. Gunavataras are Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Then Manvantara Avataras. So every Manu, there is some set of incarnation which comes. Then Yuga, Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, right? Then there are something called Shakti Avataresha Avatara, which are empowered incarnation, like Lord Parashurama, Narada. So there are so many categories, and it is unlimited, infinite. We cannot understand completely, but just to get a glimpse, to understand there are different incarnations. So now we come to the last part, where actually Lord is explaining why does Lord appear in the material world. Can somebody tell what are the reasons we discussed? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatushdham dharma samsaranataya sambhavami yuge. What it means? So, धर्म संस्थापन, धर्म को पुरस्कार करने का काम करने के लिए और परित्राणाय साधु और विनाशाय चतुष्टयम् protect the sadhus and vinashaya to destroy the miscreants. Dushkritami, the miscreants. So Krishna comes actually this. So here actually what Acharya says, so this is the apparent, so whenever the Lord appears, there are some direct reasons, apparent reasons, and then there are some indirect reasons, or which is not obvious to everyone. So as you mentioned, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita or Vedic knowledge is actually, though it is available to everybody to read, but the essence is only understood by pure devotees of the Lord, only by Bhakta. Bhaktyama Abhijanadi. Right? Krishna says only by Bhakti I think you can understand me. Right? So the indirect meaning why the Lord appears is just to attract all the conditioned souls. All the jivas in the material world, actually they are all children of the Lord. We have seen everybody is part and parcel of the Lord. And somehow they have wandered and they are lost in the material world. So Krishna wants to take all of them back to the spiritual world. So for that, he wants to show some trailer. Not trailer, like basically there's a very nice movie. We show a small trailer, right, some part. So that by seeing that we become attracted to the movie, right? So Krishna will give us a glimpse of how the exchanges happen in the spiritual world. Like when Krishna appeared in Vrindavan, you can see so many pictures, right? He did a lot of pastime, very beautiful pastime, very sweet pastime, where he spent times with Gopas, Gopis. They were completely always blissful. So whenever the Lord comes, he also shows his wonderful. So that's why Krishna is known as Leela Purushottam, right? So this is a special quality. There are 4 qualities which Krishna has, which no other incarnation have. One of them is Leela Madhuri, like there is Bird Madhuri, etc. So Krishna actually shows his wonderful pastimes when he comes in the material world, so that we become attracted to it. When we read Bhagavatam, we see so many wonderful pastimes. So we feel like, okay, I also want to be part of that, right? So this way we become attracted. So the Lord wants to attract the devotees. So this is the indirect reason why the Lord comes to the material world. Besides the other reason all of us know, protect devotees and all. So I think we have come to the end of the time. So we will end here. So if there are any questions or comments, you can try to answer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll chat. Anyone has any questions? Or can also discuss later also. It's not that spiritual topics, everything we may not know, but then we can try to clarify with the help of senior devotees.
That's okay, I will take on.
We chant Hare Krishna. So why do we chant Hare Krishna?